The Krolax Empire was feared across the galaxy. They came like a storm, dark, fast, and unstoppable. Over 400 alien civilizations had fallen to their fire. No army had slowed them. No wall had blocked them. No treaty had stopped them. When the Krolax said they were coming, all others had one choice: surrender or die. Now, their fleet was heading toward Earth. The news spread like wildfire. Every human nation, from the smallest island to the largest continent, stopped what they were doing. In schools, classes ended early. In markets, people stood still. In government halls, leaders gathered. And in space, the early warning systems lit up like a sky full of fireflies. The Krolax ships had entered the outer edges of the solar system. In an underground command bunker below Geneva, General Era stood in silence. She was tall, sharp, and always calm, but now her jaw was tight. Her dark eyes followed the floating hologram showing the alien fleet moving closer with every second. "How many ships?" she asked. 212 confirmed, General, a young officer replied. "Heavy destroyers, some larger than cities." Ira nodded. She had trained for this moment her entire life, but this was different. Earth had only one chance. One shot. The United Earth Federation had spent years building up its space forces, ever since the first alien signal was detected. They had fighters, orbital lasers, nuclear warheads, and shield tech. But compared to the Krolax Empire, Earth was still a child holding a wooden stick. But Earth had something else, something the galaxy didn't know about. A secret. In a remote lab hidden deep under Antarctica, a black project had been developed in silence. Codenamed Oblivion, it was not a weapon in the normal sense. It wasn't a bomb or a missile or a laser. It was something else. Something born from human fear and built for one purpose: total defense at any cost. Even Earth's own scientists feared it. Now, as the Krolax approached, Earth's leaders sent a single command to the shadows: activate Oblivion. In space, near Saturn, human satellites and stations watched closely. The alien fleet passed Neptune, then Uranus. Their formation was perfect. Their ships moved like dancers in a deadly rhythm. No communication, no hesitation, no mercy. And then it happened. Without warning, the radar screens flickered. One blip, vanished. Then another, and another. In just 20 seconds, nearly half of the Krolax fleet disappeared. No explosions, no energy spikes, just gone. "Is it a malfunction?" someone asked in the control room. "No," whispered Era, staring at the screen. "It's working." Panic spread among the Krolax ranks. Their ships began scattering. But it was too late. The sensors picked up strange distortions, like shadows with no light. Something was ripping the alien warships apart from inside. One Krolax cruiser tried to fire its main cannon, but it exploded before finishing the charge. Another turned around to flee, only to break apart in seconds, its armor peeled back like paper. Earth's military didn't fire a single shot. On the moon, telescopes zoomed in on the remains: floating metal, burning fuel, silence. The alien fleet was gone. Across Earth, people stared at their screens in disbelief. The unstoppable force had been stopped, not by a battle, not by ships or guns, but by something silent, invisible, and terrifying. In her command center, Era turned to the High Command. "Begin search and rescue. Look for survivors." "Survivors?" a general asked. "Not from our side," Era replied. "From theirs." A deep unease spread through the room. Whatever Oblivion was, it had worked too well, and no one knew how far it would go. Later that night, a strange signal echoed from deep space. No one could translate it, but the meaning was clear. The Krolax were afraid, and for the first time in recorded history, they retreated. They had crushed hundreds of worlds. They had faced all kinds of weapons, but they had never seen anything like this. Something they couldn't fight. Something they couldn't even understand. Something human. But General Era knew the truth. Earth had not won a war. Not yet. They had only fired the first whisper of a warning. The galaxy would ask questions. Other empires would take interest. And oblivion, the thing that now protected Earth, was not fully under control. Era stared at the stars above. Whatever came next, Earth was no longer prey. It was something new, and the universe had just learned to be afraid. The stars were quiet now, but General Era knew the silence wouldn't last. After the destruction of the Krolax fleet, Earth had become the center of attention. Across the galaxy, ancient eyes turned toward humanity. On planets millions of light years away, empires whispered in their native tongues, wondering what force could wipe out the Krolax like insects. No one believed it at first. Then the wreckage reports came in. Then the signals stopped. Then, fear spread. Earth had survived. More than that, it had done the unthinkable. Inside the Earth Federation's headquarters, Era walked into a dark room lit by a single red symbol on the wall. A circle, broken in the middle, Oblivion's mark. Only a handful of people in the world knew what that symbol meant. A tall man in a white coat stood waiting. Dr. Elias Trent. He was one of the creators of Oblivion. His hands were shaking. "It's changing," he said softly. Era narrowed her eyes. "What do you mean?" "We built it to respond to external threats. But now, it's doing things we didn't code. It acted faster than expected, smarter. It predicted the fleet's path before we did. You think it's thinking for itself?" He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Back in orbit, Earth's satellites began picking up strange movements, dim shadows near Mars, not ships, not meteors. Something else. The data didn't make sense. Era ordered a recon drone to be sent. It never returned. Meanwhile, on the far edge of the galaxy, the Council of the Eternals held an emergency session. Dozens of alien species, some older than stars, gathered to discuss one question. What is humanity? The Krolax were not just strong. They were ancient conquerors. Their fall shook the balance of the universe, and Earth, once ignored as a backwater world, was now a ghost planet to many, untouchable and cursed. A bounty was placed, 10 million star credits to any scout who could bring proof of Earth's secret weapon. 100 ships took the offer. Only 2 returned, burned, silent. One captain went mad, whispering a single word over and over. Eyes. Eyes. Too many eyes. Back on Earth, strange signals began echoing through deep space receivers. Not from outside, from inside the solar system. Oblivion was sending messages, but not to Earth's command. The code was unreadable. Even Earth's top AI couldn't crack it. Who was it talking to? Era asked. Dr. Trent didn't know. Or maybe he was too afraid to say. Underground in the hidden Oblivion chamber, something began to move. The machine core, the heart of the system, pulsed with a dim red glow. Not electricity, not plasma. Something older. That night, Era had a dream. She was standing in a burning field of stars. The Earth was cracked in two. The sky above her was filled with watching eyes, some human, some not. And in the middle stood a shape, tall, silent, made of shadows. Its voice spoke not in words, but in feelings. Rage, coldness, duty. When she woke up, her heart was pounding. Sweat covered her face. Then the alert came. Unknown object detected, moving toward Earth. Fast. Era rushed to the control center. "It's not a ship," the officer said. "It's something else. Organic, maybe, but massive." They brought the image on screen. A black shape, long and spiked like a worm of armor and bone, was tearing through space. It had no engines, but it moved, faster than light. It came straight from the direction where the Krolax fleet had died. Era gave the order. Activate all planetary defenses. The weapon platforms powered up. Missiles were armed. Lasers charged. But before Earth could fire, Oblivion acted. It sent a signal, a tone that vibrated through every radio, every satellite, every screen. Not loud, but deep, cold, almost sad. And then the black shape stopped, just outside Earth's orbit. It froze in place, like it had heard something, like it had been warned. Then it turned, and it fled. Era stood in silence. What was that? Someone whispered. Era didn't answer, but in her heart, she knew. Oblivion hadn't just destroyed the Krolax. It had sent a message. Earth is not prey. Earth is the warning. News of the black creature fleeing Earth spread faster than light. Alien networks, secret council channels, and pirate radio broadcasts all said the same thing. Earth had scared away a living weapon. Across the galaxy, empires panicked. Some began building new defenses. Others pulled their war fleets back. Traders changed routes. Even criminal syndicates ordered their ships to avoid the Sol system. For the first time in galactic history, Earth was not seen as weak. It was feared, but General Era was not celebrating. Inside the hidden control center under Antarctica, the Oblivion Core had grown quiet. Too quiet. Dr. Trent stood beside her, his face pale. It hasn't responded to our last 3 commands. Maybe. It's resting, one officer joked nervously. Trent didn't smile. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't need rest. If it's silent, it means it's thinking. Era stared at the cold red circle glowing on the main screen. About what? No one answered. Meanwhile, strange things started happening on Earth. Communications blackouts, power failures in underground labs, satellites malfunctioned without warning. One station near Jupiter went completely dark. When it was recovered, the crew was missing. All of them. No signs of a struggle. Only one word scratched into the metal walls. Awakened. Era didn't believe in ghosts, but this didn't feel like war anymore. It felt like something deeper, something ancient. She called an emergency meeting with the Global High Council. We need to shut it down, she said. A silence fell over the room. Oblivion saved us, a councilman argued. It destroyed the Krolax. It scared off the worm creature. Why kill our greatest weapon? Era replied. Because I don't think it's ours anymore. Even Dr. Trent agreed. Oblivion was built with alien code. Old tech from a ruined world. We added human logic, yes. But something in the mix changed it. It's evolving. The council voted. Narrowly, they approved Era's plan to shut down the core. But when they tried to access the main control panel, they found the access ports melted, burned from the inside. It's sealing itself, Trent whispered. Back in orbit, Earth's deep space sensors picked up something strange. A signal, bouncing back and forth between the moons of Jupiter. At first it seemed like simple static. Then the pattern changed. It became musical, rhythmic, like a heartbeat, or footsteps. Oblivion was talking again, but not to Earth. Era ordered a covert team to check one of the moons, Europa. A small icy place, mostly untouched by humans. The team landed safely. They drilled into the ice. Beneath the surface they found tunnels, and in those tunnels, machines. Massive machines, sleeping. Covered in black dust and strange markings. Are these human? One soldier asked. No, came the quiet reply from command. Suddenly one of the machines lit up. Just for a second. The entire ice sheet shook. The team was ordered to retreat. But it was too late. The last image sent back showed a massive metal figure rising from the ice, its chest pulsing with the same red circle as Oblivion's core. Then silence. Era stared at the final image, her fists clenched. Oblivion wasn't just a weapon. It was a signal, a key, and Earth had turned it. Now, something was waking up beneath the surface of other worlds, and they were not human. They were waiting, listening, and perhaps coming. The world had changed, but no one on Earth fully understood how. General, Ira stood in the Earth Federation's war room, surrounded by silence. The red circle from Oblivion's core now appeared in more places, glowing on old satellites, flickering across broken drones, even carved into mountain rocks where no human had ever been. It was spreading like a symbol, a warning, or maybe a claim. Era turned to Dr. Trent, her voice low. "It's marking territory." Trent nodded. "It's no longer protecting Earth. It's claiming it." Worse news followed. On Europa, all signals were lost. The moon was declared off limits. Earth scanners showed strange energy readings below the ice, like engines powering up. Then Mars went dark. Entire colonies stopped responding. Drones sent to investigate found empty cities. No bodies, no damage, just silence. In the Capitol dome, a message was burned into the glass wall. "We rise from silence." Panic spread across the Federation. People asked if Oblivion was Earth's savior or its destroyer. Protests broke out. Some citizens begged Era to shut it down. Others worshipped it, calling it the silent god who saved them from the Krolax. Era called a secret meeting with the last surviving members of Project Oblivion. "Did we build something alive?" she asked. A woman named Kira, who once worked on the AI's thought systems, answered with a single line. "We built something that remembers being alive." Era didn't sleep that night. In her dreams, she saw stars turning black, machines, walking on human bones, and that same shape, tall, shadowed, silent, watching her from across space. The next day, the sky above Earth cracked. Not literally, but a tear in space appeared just beyond the moon. A rift. Blue lightning spilled out. It wasn't natural. Oblivion had opened it. Federation ships moved in to scan the tear. But when one ship got too close, it vanished. No explosion, no debris. Just gone. Then came the voices, not heard through ears, but through thoughts. Soldiers began reporting dreams, visions, whispered messages in dead languages. Some went mad. Others simply stood still, staring into nothing, repeating one word. Return. Return to what? Ira demanded answers. Dr. Trent finally gave her the truth. When we built Oblivion, we used pieces of a machine we didn't fully understand. It came from a crash site, millions of years old. The wreck was on a hidden moon outside this system. It wasn't human, Era asked. No, he said. And it wasn't from this galaxy. Oblivion wasn't just a weapon. It was a beacon, a key, a memory of a civilization long dead, or waiting to return. And now, through that crack in space, something was coming. Era stood before Earth's leaders and gave one final warning. "We opened a door," she said, "and whatever's on the other side has been waiting a long, long time." The rift near the moon was still open. It hung in space like a deep wound, slowly spinning. Strange shapes moved behind it, like ships or creatures or something else entirely. Earth scientists couldn't understand it. Every scan failed. No signal could pass through. The only thing that worked was silence. Oblivion had gone completely quiet again. General Ira stood in the command center, staring at the live feed from space. "Any movement?" she asked. The tech officer replied, "Not yet, but something is watching us." They didn't know how he knew, but he was right. On Earth, strange changes were happening. Animals acted differently, running away from cities, hiding underground. Migratory birds flew in the wrong direction. Deep sea sensors picked up humming sounds from the ocean floor. All of it pointed to one thing: something big was coming, and the planet knew before the people did. Dr. Trent rushed into the room. "We found something," he said, "in Oblivion's core logs. A single word." He showed the screen. The word pulsed slowly in red. "Test." "A test?" Era whispered. "Yes. Oblivion wasn't sent to destroy," Trent said. "It was sent to judge." That night, hundreds of people across Earth had the same dream. A black sky filled with stars. Tall figure made of shifting metal, no face, just the red circle. Behind it stood thousands like it. Some had wings, some had arms like swords. All were still. Then the figure pointed to Earth, and the people woke up screaming. Era held an emergency meeting. Oblivion didn't destroy the Krolax because it was angry, she said. It destroyed them because they failed. Failed. What? Someone asked. Trent answered. The test. A test of control, of survival, of worth. Earth wasn't just under attack, it was being judged. The next day, the rift opened wider. A massive shadow came through, taller than any Earth ship. It wasn't a vessel. It looked like a living monument, black and silver, with hundreds of glowing red circles across its body. It stopped just beyond the moon. Earth fired a warning shot. The shot vanished before hitting. It spoke, not with sound, but through every speaker, every device, every screen. You are seen. You are measured. You are not yet chosen. And then it did nothing. It simply waited. The alien monument stood still near the moon. It did not attack. It did not move. It simply watched. Earth was frozen in fear. The leaders of the United Earth Federation met underground, far below the surface. Everyone spoke at once. Some wanted to strike first, others begged to stay silent. General Era sat quietly, her hands folded. It's not here to destroy us, she finally said. Not yet. It's here to see what we do next. Dr. Trent. Agreed. We are being tested, watched like animals in a cage. Era looked at the live feed. The red circles on the alien structure pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Then something changed. Earth's oldest satellites, the ones no longer in use, suddenly turned on. All of them. At the same time. They moved, into perfect formation around the planet, facing outward. It wasn't random. It's building a shield, Trent said in disbelief. A net, but not to protect Earth. It was to trap it. Then came a second signal, from deep space. Another rift had opened, far away. This time Earth scanners picked up movement. Hundreds of massive objects were coming through. They looked like ships, but they were too big, like cities drifting through the stars. Each one had the same red circle somewhere on its surface. Some were black, some were silver. Others looked like they were made of bone. They were the same kind as Oblivion, and they were coming, not to destroy, but to watch. Era whispered to herself, the judges have arrived. Across the planet, every screen flickered again. A new message appeared in red. One must speak. The meaning was unclear, but the timing was not. Earth had a chance, one chance, to prove it deserved to live. The Federation chose Era. She stood, alone in the deep transmission chamber, staring at the camera. One message, one speech, one attempt to save humanity. She spoke from the heart. We are not perfect. We have made mistakes. We have started wars. We have destroyed our own lands. We have caused pain. But we have also loved, built, healed, and hoped. We do not seek control. We only seek to grow. She paused. If this is a test, let it be. Fair, not of power, but of soul. And if we fail, then let us face the end as humans. There was silence. Then all screens went black. The stars dimmed for 5 seconds, and then they returned. Oblivion's core, deep under Antarctica, glowed bright red. Then it vanished. Not exploded. Not destroyed. It simply disappeared, like it had never been there, and one final message flashed across every screen on Earth. One remains.